You're looking at the 2020 Acura RDX all-wheel drive with the A-Spec trim, and I want to explain to you why this luxury midsize crossover is such a great value. And I'll do that by sharing my personal likes and dislikes about the car, and at the end of the video, I'll share with you what you can expect to pay versus the competition. And let's start the video with the exterior of the RDX. Redesigned in a major way in 2019, now in its third generation. The 2020 version is visually the same. It has the giant grille. It's got a large LED headlight unit, has a very distinctive hood. I mean, the creases on this thing look super sharp. It's got a sleeker profile with a floating roof design. And for the A-Spec, you find lots of design elements that are blacked out. It's got a blacked out front fascia, which has functional vents for brake cooling, by the way. It has blacked out trim on the door. It has blacked out wheels. And around back, it has ridiculously giant tailpipes. Overall, I'm digging the exterior of the RDX. It looks athletic, but still luxurious. And I'm a huge fan of this performance red pearl color. It looks subdued during the day, but it really pops at night. When the streetlights reflect off the paint and the hard creases on the body, it looks pretty high class. Moving to the inside, the interior design has received a major facelift for the third generation RDX platform, and I like it. Starting with the center console, this look has been taken from the flagship Acura, the NSX. So this has a button-style shifter transmission. Losing the traditional shifter means that it opens up the cabin so much more. There's a lot more space in here, so if you want to park, there's a P button here to put yourself into park. Reverse is a button that you push back. And then you have neutral and drive buttons. Pretty self-explanatory. And the buttons also light up showing which gear you're in. And the centerpiece of the interior is this touchpad. This is called their TTI, or True Touchpad Interface. You know, ever since screens have invaded cars' infotainment systems, all the manufacturers have really struggled with ways to interact with it. So whether it's via dials or touchpads or trackpads like this, the experience in general has been kind of on the awful side. And that's really due to a combination of things. It's got a lot to do with the display, the quality of the display, where it's located, how far away it is, where the input is located, how the information is presented, how the menu system works. A lot of different factors. With Acura's touchpad interface, the experience is actually better. And it's got a lot to do with keeping the driver's attention on the road. You see, there are two problems with touchscreens. The first one is that you're looking at where you're pointing. And the second one is that you have to physically touch the screen. That means that the screen is placed closer to you and further away from where you need to be focusing at when you're driving. So generally, when you're interacting with it, you're being distracted from driving. With Acura's system, they've placed a 10.2-inch non-touchscreen display, which looks awesome, by the way, a little bit further away and more within your line of sight. And what's so special with their touchpad is that they have what's called absolute positioning, which means that each region of the touchpad corresponds to a different portion of the screen. This is better than some of the other touchpad systems in the market because the user interface is also better. There's a high contrast between the background and what's being chosen, orange on blue. Once you're used to it, you don't even have to look at the screen to know what you're selecting. You can also rearrange the icons. You can place shortcuts anywhere. And if you want to have a shortcut to a radio station, you can do that. So do I like the system? It's okay. The nice thing about it is it's not that frustrating to use. And if something is frustrating to use, then you're just not going to use it. Of course, you also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Just be aware that the absolute positioning feature on the touchpad doesn't really apply here. So it just reverts to a traditional touchpad. Moving on from that, looking up at the center console, you see this large dial here, and that controls your driving modes. So you have snow, normal, sport, and sport plus. This just changes the throttle response and how aggressively you hold onto the gears before upshifting. And speaking of gears, this thing has a 10-speed automatic transmission. You know, we're in the age where 7, 8, and 10-speed automatic transmissions are the norm. It just means that there's a lot more mechanical components in it, like clutches and brakes, and there's also a mechatronic or a robotic element to it. That's why manufacturers are able to have these push-button transmissions like this one. The takeaway from that is that these automatic transmissions shift very quickly, and they're also much more efficient because physically there's more gear ratios where the engine can spin at a more optimal speed. And speaking of the engine, with the Acura RDX, you get only one engine option, and that's a 2-liter turbocharged engine, making 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Decent numbers, making this SUV feel pretty quick. With the all-wheel drive, the mileage is 21 city, 27 highway, and 23 combined. This engine is more powerful when compared to the other European luxury brands' base engines, but those other brands also have more powerful engine options, which will easily leave the RDX in the dust. For the rest of the interior, you have beautiful leather seats with ultra suede inserts. These seats are 12-way adjustable. They're heated, and with the A-Spec package, they're also ventilated. The best part is that there's physical heated and ventilated seat buttons in here, and there's also an auto button, which means that your butt won't get too hot or cold. Other interior design features that I like is this center cover here. I like that it hides away, revealing the cup holders, and it's also a place for you to charge your phone. I like cars that have these covers because generally cup holders aren't the best things to look at. They attract a lot of dirt and crumbs, and if I just don't want to see that, I could just close this and it'll just make the car look a lot cleaner than it actually is. I also like the fact that underneath the center console, there's a large cubby hole here where you could store your electronics, and there's also USB ports so you could charge up your phone, iPad, or anything that you may have lying around. Looking up, there's a big panoramic moonroof, and looking around the perimeter, you find some extra speakers. This A-Spec package is equipped with Acura's ELS Studio 3D audio system, which has 16 speakers. That's way overkill for a non-audiophile like myself, but if you have a good source of music, then you're really going to enjoy your time sitting in here. Moving on to the steering wheel, you have a beautiful 3-spoke leather pointed steering wheel here. Plenty of buttons and scroll wheels to control the stereo and also all of the driving aids. Unfortunately, no heated steering wheel for the A-Spec trim. You have to get the advanced package to get that feature. I wished Acura moved to a fully digital instrument cluster like some of the more expensive luxury brands. That being said, the center display is digital. It looks nice. However, I'm not a fan of the red lettering on the tach and the speedometer. I think at night it's a little too distracting. What's not distracting though is the red ambient lighting. It looks awesome. You see it on the door handles, the floor, the center console. At night, this SUV really makes you feel like you're in a spaceship. Between the center console that looks futuristic, the paddle shifter, these amazing seats, my 10-year-old self would go crazy in here. As for the second row, plenty of legroom, slightly more than the competition. Unfortunately, the A-Spec trim doesn't have heated rear seats. If you want that, you have to go get the advanced package. And as for the cargo area, it's decently spacious, and it has a powered liftgate. So what is it like to drive? Well, having the powerful engine makes life a lot easier. Put yourself in Sport Plus mode if you want a more lively driving experience. The ride is also very good. Comfortable and plush. Handling is good, and that's got a lot to do with the super handling all-wheel drive system, which is rear biased and can send up to 70% of the power to the rear, so pretty engaging to drive. Plus you have all the standard safety features like automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, and also lane keep assist. And there's also an available blind spot assistance and rear cross traffic alert. Those features are available in the tech package. Kind of a bummer that there's no 360-degree camera parking system that you normally find in other luxury brands, but that's remedied with the front and rear park sensors that's going to beep at you if you're coming close to something. So back to the point of this video, how much does this vehicle cost and how does it compare to the competition? Before I share that with you, if you've watched this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you like the video, please consider hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe, and also hitting that notification bell so that you can get notified anytime we make a new video. So back to this Acura RDX. This one, as equipped, comes at $47,195, and that includes the $1,000 destination and handling fee. Comparably equipped European brands cost $6,000 to $8,000 more compared to the Acura RDX. And this one is more powerful. So do I recommend the RDX? Yes, absolutely. If you're looking for a mid-sized luxury crossover that has great amenities, great features, and is also aggressively priced, then this is for you. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. This has been the 2020 Acura RDX all-wheel drive with the A-Spec trim. My name is Hanson, and I will see you next time.